there, YouTube. I'm back again for another list, another peek in the past. We're getting into the time capsule, and we're going to Essen Spiel 2012, one of the largest game conventions on the planet. We're going to go back and we're going to take a look, in hindsight, at what were the 10 best games of Essen 2012, thanks in part to the Spiel 2012 preview. So if any of these games apparently weren't released that year, they were just demoed or something crazy like that, blame them, because I got this list from them. But they rock, so check out Board Game Geek. But starting off at number 10, we have Love Letter, but the original Love Letter wasn't the one that you probably know from AEG. This it was actually, a different looking Love Letter it's look much more like this, that was released at Essen, and then AEG picked it up and released it, I believe, at that year's Gen Con, where that thing was huge. Everyone was playing Love Letter. It was dirt cheap. You got a massive bag, if I ever recall correctly, when you bought it, because AEG does these huge bags that can hold like 30 board games. It's ridiculous. And this one really spearheaded the micro game trend, I would argue, because for the next few years, there were lots and lots of micro games, and we still see it to this day with Mint Tin games. And so I want to see where the designer was at this point in their career. So Seiji Kanai, who has 67 games, but I know a lot of them are Love Letter spin-offs. Let's see where they were in their career back in 2012. Was this something that people were super hot for? I think people were excited about this at Gen Con, but I wasn't at that year's Essen. So let's see. 2013, and then we go. So they were releasing games back in 2006. Nothing ranked here until we get to Cheaty Mages, 3,164, 1,924 Chronicle. So they were an up-and-coming game designer, 5271, 14157. Those are pretty far down, 3265, so hits and misses. And then they released Brave Rats, and then Say Bye to the Villains. I love Brave Rats. I like Say Bye to the Villains and Love Letter. And that was their big magnum opus. And it looks like that is still, to this day, their number one game design. But I know they've done tons and tons. So Love Letter, starting off strong. The number 295 game all time. Our number 10, though, for Essen 2012. Let's go to number 9. Going to Seasons. Mages compete against 12 seasons to collect crystals and become the new Archmage. Still ranked number 241 on all of Board Game Geeks of all the board games of all time, so super impressive. Designer Regis Bonanese. So let's see. So where were they in their career when this was released? Was this their first one? Was this their second one? Was this... So 2012, so no, oh wow, 2002, and their first game was, 1400 still with Himalaya, and then they come back with Fabula 8 years later. Really interesting. 8 years between game 1 and game 2. And game 2, definitely a disappointment to a lot of people, apparently sitting at the 10,000. If your game's 12 years old and it's 10,000, that means most people that played it were like, eh. And then Seasons, just boom. I bet this one blew a lot of people away. 235, wowzers. And then just milking the seasons since then. Why not? Why not? Absolutely. And then came out with Dice Forge. Oh my gosh, I love Dice Forge. I didn't realize the guy that did Dice Forge also did Seasons. That's cool. And Seasons, I don't know if this one is still in print. I would imagine they're still printing this one, because it's just a great game. Is this game out of print? Let's find out. 2022. Just came here to ask the same question. I hope that the game is one of my favorite. Play it off, and even if it's out of print, I just purchased a copy on Amazon. They still have copies as of today, so not out of print in 2022. Cool. Also, they could get in there. That'd be great to, do your customer service there, whoever has that game license. So then we go 10 to the 9 to the 8. So the number 8 game of Essen 2012 was Bora Bora from Stefan Feld, one of the most prolific and famous game designers of all time. But let's see where he was in his career. Oh, this was the year after Trajan and Castles of Burgundy, and it says 2013, but I think it was actually a 2012 and they retconned that. I'm going to guess that this was something that was released at Essen, because once again, I got it off the Spiel 2012 preview. Either way, who cares? It was still probably just a game that people were super hyped for. Notre Dame, Name of the Rose, and the Year of the Dragon. Like, it's just my personal favorite right there. Bruges. It's just... I bet it was people were hyped to get this one. I bet they ran back to their hotel room and they played this one that night. And it did not disappoint. Still sitting at the number 236 game of all time Bora Bora, and it just got a new video 1 month ago, just because people still love Bora Bora. I've never played it. I really need to get on my Feld collection. That's on my list. All right, so, but number 7, man, we got some great games coming in front of us. So, moving on to number 6, we got the Resistance Avalon. Now, if you've been following this series, the Resistance was super popular. I think it was our number 7 a couple years back. And then this is the follow-up to the Resistance, the immensely popular social deduction game. And honestly, you can pretty much play regular Resistance with the Resistance Avalon. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but you could. Except either the Resistance has some extra cool cards. Either way, this is Don Eskridge's magnum opus, it looks like here. Number 156. And, you know, I gotta imagine the buzz for this was immense. Because if you weren't in the hobby when the Resistance was, like, massively popular, it was everywhere. Everyone was playing the Resistance. It had one of those phases, like Dominion did for a while, where it's just tons of people were playing it. And I imagine the buzz for the Resistance Avalon was just massive. They're saying, oh, they're taking this amazing game and they improved it? Yes, please. Yes, please. And I bet that was a hot game of the show, getting played in a lot of hotel rooms that night. The Resistance Avalon. All right, moving on to number 6. We've got Kemet, which is it just got re-implemented by Kemet Blood and Sand. I think people might have just got like Kickstarters for something or other for this. But it's still at the 120 spot as well. Sitting here for 10 years at the time of talking. And it's still at 120. That's super impressive with how cold to the new we are. And this year, Essen 2012 was a banger because we're at 6 and we're about to break the top 100. Are you kidding me? As a watch it played video. Love that. Let's see where the designers were at the time of this. Where was Jacques and Julien? Julia Guelium. I apologize for that one. I'm going to give that a whirl after we take a look at the designer here. I'm really bad at that. So, 2012. So, what did we do before that? So, one thing, it was Nerfidian. That was ranked 1528. So, I imagine a lot of people were hyped about Kemet. Second game design there, and just absolutely crushed it. 121. And then Kemet Blood and Sand, the redone one, sitting at 520. That one's a little bit too early to judge that one, though. Now, Gualami. Hopefully I got that close to correct. Let's see where they were in their designing career at this point. So, Death White Papers, first game, 84, 83. But then they worked on Nerfitidi and then Kemet. Okay, so they were design team for those two, and they both crushed right there. Awesome. Very cool. So I bet there was some hype for this one. And it lived up to it. Number 5. On to number 4. Keyflower, which is part of a series, the Key series. There's a whole bunch of Key games. I don't think I've played any of the Key games. But they're very popular. And this one I imagine was super hype because it was in the Key series. But let's see where it was in the Key series. So let's look at the co-designers. Yeah, because we got Keyflower. I didn't know he did Black Fleet. Wow, okay. So we're going back to 2012. Way back, machine. And we started off with, on the Underground, started at 1451. On the cards, 10818. We Will Walk You, 6194. And then Keyflower. Keyflower is the one. That was the... so this one probably did not have much buzz. Maybe. You know, that On the Underground. But that was so long ago. That was 6 years ago. And since then you put out two things that were like, people weren't crazy about. I bet this was a lot of people's hidden gem that year. I wish I could go back and just see. And then since then they've done quite a few other Key thing games, I do believe. Or maybe it's just expansions. Maybe I'm just cray-cray. No, they did Keyflow. All right. Then Richard Breeze. Now, were they a co-design team, or did they... Oh, no, he did Aladdin's Dragon. So he ventured off and did some other things as well. And he was... in 1989 designing. Okay. So, Chamelequin, Keywood in 1995. Key Dumb. So he's the one. Wow. Key Town in the year 2000. So that was 12 years before this one broke big. Wow. And then Aladdin's Dragon broke him off in number 1295. And then Cathedral at 11:13. The Reef Encounter, which I've heard amazing things, from 7:31. And wow, so I imagine this was a very hotly anticipated game. If this was part of a series, and this looks to be the one that really just boom. Awesome. Love seeing that story. So Keyflower, probably a lot of buzz on this one. Live up to the expectations. Number 83 game of all time. We still have 4 games that released at Essen 2012 that are better. Let's go see them. Robinson Crusoe Adventures on the Cursed Island. One of my favorite games of all time. One of those games that I'm like, I'm going to get to you one day when I have just an unlimited amount of time to play games. I just want to explore that game so much deeper, especially the newer version. But it was released by Ignacy Trzeziczek and Joanna Kajanka. And so, hopefully I didn't get that too wrong. And before that, he did 51st State, which is a much beloved game. The new era, so you can see 51st State, the master set, sitting at the 322 spot. Robinson Crusoe, 72. Detective, 184. So I imagine at this point, after, well, how did New Era do? 175 games. You're a savage. You're a savage, Ignacy. All right. I want to see where he was. 7 pages. Get into the Reiner territory. All right. So 2002 had the first game at the 19536, and then Stronghold in 2009, still a top 1,000 game. 51st State in 2010, a top 500 game. The New Era, the expansion, the next year. So I imagine there was a lot of buzz around this game. And I do believe this is when I really first got into the hobby. That or the year before that. And I think it was the year before that. And I remember a lot of people talking about this game just because it had like this cool episodic content thing with each having its own separate thing. And just it took some ideas from Friday, which is a fantastic game. And it's still, I think it was on GameFound last year, made a boatload of money. Still creeping up there. Number 4. But number 3, a game that I actually like better. I feel like Board Game Geek's overall rankings got this one right. One of my favorite games of all time, probably in my top 20. That is Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar. Lead your people, build monuments, and make offerings to earn the favor of the gods. And this one was from CGE, who at this time period I believe was on fire. And it's from Simone Lucian and Daniel Tassini. Let's check that out. And then Tzolk'in, wow. Broke in, but then you got Barrage, The Voyages of Marco Polo. No, that one was before that. Grand Austria Hotel, Lorenzo di Magnifico. Wow. The hits keep on coming. All right, let's go back to 2012, though. Boop, boop, boop. 2009, starting it off with the first game, 17,000. Urbania, 4,800. And then Tzolk'in. So I imagine this one... designer-wise, probably did not have... Well, maybe let's see what he's doing in 2012. No, that was the... So since then, just absolutely crushing it, Tzolk'in. But Tzolk'in looks like that was the big turning point where it was just like, yeah, we're going to crush this hard. Awesome. CG picked themselves a winner. Still a relevant game. I still hear people talk about it. Video out just 3 months ago. And it's just an absolutely delightful game. And... I imagine it's still in print. I imagine CG wouldn't let this one go out of print because it's just awesome. And hopefully one day I'd love to see an expansion for this one as well. Delightful game if you've never checked it out. And one of my favorite things about Tzolk'in is once you learn the game, it's easy to pick back up. The rules are not complex to it. Number 3, all time. So there's 2 better. 2 better at Essen this year. Number 2, let's go. Terra Mystica. And I was actually at Essen the year the Gaia project was released. So I'm very interested to see where that one charted. Actually, I guess we'll find out right now because it's probably from the same designer. So, the designer, Jens Strogler, Helge Ostertag, and for Eurogame fans, as this is like, for a lot of people, the magnum opus. And then Gaia project, wow, number 7. Oh my gosh. And then over here we got Helge, who worked on a couple more games. So let's see what they did before this. Years released, because if you're coming out swinging with Terra Mystica, that would be pretty nuts. So no, they did have the Scepter of Zavandor, which was released in 2004. Still number 1353 game of all time. That makes me want to check that out. And then the other person who was Helge had Desperados in 2004, Kaive 2005, Kaive Expansion 2006, Guru Ooh, that one, 20,000. That one's pretty low. Galactico. So just a couple games that weren't that well received, and then this. So I can't imagine there was probably too much buzz about this game, and it probably just had to blow people's pants off. I mean, wow. That's a... Oh, no, actually, I guess from the Scepter of Zavendor. I've never even heard of this game. What is this? This looks like this. That's for... There you go. Reprint that thing. Go make yourself $1 million on Kickstarter. Anywho, that's Terra Mystica. That's number 2. Still a much beloved game, but not the number 1 game of Essen 2012, because that goes to Concordia. Now, I will say... it's listed as 2013 here. I'm pretty sure they retconned that. I don't know. I went from the Spiel 2012 preview list, so I'm going to go with that. Because Concordia, number 19 game of all time. And that's super impressive considering it came out 10 years ago. And it's still, top 20. Designer Matt Gertz. And let's see where he was in his career at that time. He was just gravy train biscuit wheels. Just on fire. Because I believe I remember talking about Matt Gertz in not one, but 2 of the other videos I've done talking about Essen, potentially. So Antique, top 1,000, 2005. Imperial, top 300, still, 2006. Hamburgen, nearly top 1,000, 2007. Top 2,000, Imperial 2030. That was what I was talking about. 272, 259, 2012, the Antica Duel, and then Concordia. Imagine the buzz around this game. I bet it was the hottest game of the show, the one people are running for, and it did not disappoint. Still sitting in, the annals, the creme de la creme, the top 20 of all time, of all the board games ever made. Concordia, still 20. But man, Essen Spiel 2022 was fantastic. Let me know what you think about this series. Let me know if you have any ideas, feedbacks, comments, all that sort of good stuff. Also, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below as I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers to celebrate my 10-year anniversary of making YouTube content. Have a good day.